How's it going, YGON? Ben here, and I'm actually filming this after I did my reaction. On OBS, which I use to record, I made a new scene of the camera, and then I also have here, let me like this. But I didn't know that when I made it for this scene that I had to add a new mic. So in the original recording, the intro and the outro are completely muted. So I am going to be taking a look today. I heard about the De'Aaron trade rumors. I know there's a lot of NBA fans out there that don't really follow the teams they're fans of, including myself. I didn't really even hear about this De'Aaron Fox trade until recently, and I'm pretty, I like De'Aaron Fox, so I figured it'd be, since we're on this journey of content creation, I feel like it'd be pretty fun to dive a little bit into the trade rumors, see if I have any takes on that, and see what the community's takes are. Not too many people are commenting on these videos quite yet, which means that if you drop a comment, let me know your thoughts. There's a 100% chance that I'm going to see it. So feel free to let me know what thoughts that you have on the De'Aaron Fox trade. I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to film the outro literally right after this. And so I'll get back to you after we get the reaction done for my final thoughts. We'll be taking a look here at Sporting Logically today, and he's going to be walking us through everything that we need to know about this De'Aaron Fox trade. And then I'm going to try and pause and talk about things, but, I'm new to this whole reaction thing still, so feel free to give me pointers. But yeah, let's hop right into it.
On the move. ESPN is reporting that the Kings have opened up trade talks with Fox, and the expectation is that he will be on a different team prior to the 2025 NBA trade deadline, which is next week, with Fox having a specific team in mind. Now, there's a lot going on here, especially with him having a team in mind, and I have some ideas on what that team is. But first, how did we get here? I talked about this in a video not too long ago. The De'Aaron Fox situation has been brewing in Sacramento for a little while now. He had the opportunity to sign an extension with the team this past offseason. Most people expected him to sign the extension, and he did not, which opened up this exact possibility because De'Aaron Fox is only under contract until 2026.
Did he say why he didn't sign the extension, or is it kind of just up in the air still?
Led to them basically deciding it's time to give up on De'Aaron Fox because he has a team in mind that he's going to go to in free agency in 2026 anyway.
Okay, so I guess he just wants out, which is fair. There's plenty of NBA players that just want to go on to a different team. They feel like their situation is, it's always good to get a change of scenery. I'm never going to hate on someone that wants a low-key change of scenery. So it seems like he opted out of his extension, so he's going to be entering the free agency this offseason. Okay, so he's kind of putting the Kings into a spot where they kind of have to trade him or risk losing him for nothing, essentially, because he very well could leave in the offseason for nothing. And so the pressure's kind of on them now to pull the trigger on him. So this is very interesting.
And making this move is that he can make more money. If he signs in free agency,
oh, he wants more money?
He makes less money than he would if he went ahead, forced a trade, went to the team, then signed an extension with that new team rather than signing outright in 2026. So
he wants to get traded so that he can make more money.
Go to? Well, because I did this video a month ago, I've already got some trades ready to go for you here. Of course, the first option a lot of people are going to talk about is the Houston Rockets. They still need a perimeter creator in many people's minds.
Steven Adams, damn, Jabari Smith Jr., and Cam Whitmore. Oh, shit. That's a pretty good trade for the Kings.
They are not that far away from being true top-tier contenders. They're already one of the best teams in the West as it is, and they need a focal point offensive player, which Fox certainly.
I just wonder who
in this construction
would be their point guard.
Jabari Smith, Cam Whitmore, and 2 first-round picks. You can add first-round picks to this. You can add assets to this, however you want to. The only thing is Houston's not trading Amen Thompson, and they can't trade Jalen Green or Alperen Şengün at this moment because they signed extensions this past offseason. But
I don't think you want to trade Şengün anyways. He's way too good.
They're the team, though, because they wouldn't really have cap space in 2026. 2025 is their cap space year, so I'm kind of writing them off at the moment despite the basketball fit. One of the other options here, despite not having cap space in 2026, is Golden State.
This. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, if this happens, that'd be insane. That would be such a bad move for the Warriors, I think. I don't think that they need another point guard, right? I mean, they could have Curry run off ball a little bit more. They're getting rid of Jonathan Kuminga, who's like a young up-and-comer. Is he even still, would you guys say that he's still an up-and-comer, or is he kind of cemented himself in the mid status? I don't know, man. I don't think that this would be a good trade for really either of the teams.
There's a team that's going to continually be mentioned. They have a bunch of contracts they can put together. They have Kuminga, they have Podziemski, they have first-round picks they can put.
But just because you can put a bunch of contracts together for a trade, you just gotta look at who you're trading. I don't know about this fit.
And Fox, as
he's pretty quick, so he'd work with like the pace of their offense.
Less offensive responsibility is something that makes a lot of sense for Golden State.
Yeah, like I said, have him run a little bit more off ball.
A combo that they've been holding on to for a little while here. But again, I don't think that's the De'Aaron Fox team. I don't think that's the team that he has in mind. You have to pay attention to the wording of this report.
Yeah,
An idea of where he wants to go. A couple of other options here. I know Miami has been mentioned specifically in a construction in which
I don't know if he'd want to go to the Warriors at this point.
because I don't know why.
The Rockets are a different story. They're pretty damn good right now.
But again, that doesn't really make that much sense to me because they already have.
Ooh. De'Aaron Fox and the Rockets that'd be kind of nice to see in the playoffs. That'd be kind of nice.
Key pieces of their core moving forward, unless they're trading, Tyler Hero and some stuff to Sacramento. Again, I'm not sure why Sacramento would want Tyler Hero in exchange for De'Aaron Fox. That isn't a deal that makes a ton of sense to me either, which leads me to two teams. One that I think is most likely, and the other that is kind of a dark horse in the De'Aaron Fox sweepstakes. First up, and the team that a lot of people are throwing around right now, is the San Antonio Spurs. Guys want to play.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh, now we're talking, baby. Oh, yes. Yes, dude. Oh, dude, we need this, dude. We just have to give up Keldon and Zach Collins. Yes. And some picks. I mean, we have, 3 first-round picks? The Spurs have 3 first-round picks. By the way, I don't know if you can see. I'm a bit of a Spurs fan these days. Well, we can clear this whole NBA fan stuff up at another time. But this would be a really good trade for the Spurs, I think. Wemby is already in the top 5 best NBA players in the league right now in his second season. Age 21 he just turned. He's the same age as me, and he's the top 5 best player in the NBA right now, and he's only getting better. So I think we got that 2031 pick. So, I mean, I know that the Spurs are known to like draft and that kind of thing. They don't really acquire too many big stars through trades, but dude, De'Aaron Fox is a pretty good defender if I'm not wrong. Let me go back to. So he's really good at deflections, and so he is a great. Okay. He can manage a heavy offensive load. All right, I looked through some of these stats. It looks like he's a decent defender. He's not good at the rim. He's relatively versatile, and he's pretty good at deflections, but he's kind of a middle-of-the-pack defender otherwise, at least from the stats. I might have to watch some more Kings games, or I don't know. Shout out to Crafted NBA.
Play with Wemby. They see the impact that he has on each end of the floor. They see the impact that he has.
I really like this trade.
It's a Spurs team that still really isn't that great, and they, just like the Rockets, need a lead guard. They need a perimeter creator. In this construction, you got a couple of contracts you can send out in Keldon Johnson, Zach Collins, and then San Antonio has a bunch of future first-round picks because of some trades they've made in the past with Chicago and Charlotte and Atlanta. And you can add or take away whatever assets you want. You can add more first-round picks. Obviously, the contracts aren't that appealing to Sacramento, so maybe you have to further incentivize them. But this is a construction that could make sense for San Antonio. Then they have Fox, they have Wemby. They still have some more flexibility moving forward because they haven't used their own picks.
Yes, they still have their own picks too. This is Charlotte. This is to Atlanta. Swap the rights. The Bulls and the Hornets. So none of their own picks too. That is chef's kiss.
It's a team that has constantly attracted stars, and they have plenty of options, plenty of assets, and a clear path towards a quick turnaround and rebuild with what should be a high pick in the 2025 draft. The goal for the Nets has always been to be open and available in free agency in 2026, which they certainly had cap space to be able to sign De'Aaron Fox in the first place, which makes sense with that phrasing. This was never going to be a 5-year rebuild for the Nets. They want to turn things around pretty quickly while they have access to their own first-round picks and a trade construction of contracts and a bunch of picks.
Ben Simmons is on a 1-year, $40 million contract. Dude. Is this the right move for the Nets, though? Because if you're talking about, like, immediately this would seem like a really big win, I feel like, for the Nets. Because you're trading Ben Simmons, who at this point does nothing, for De'Aaron Fox, who's like a borderline all-star on a team that isn't tanking. They're not like a competitive team, really. I mean, they're somewhat competitive, but they're not contending or anything like that. So I feel like at first this would seem like a big win for the Nets, but that is interesting. The Bucks pick would probably be later in the first round. OKC's would be late of the first round. Houston's late in the first round. Phoenix would be kind of mid at the middle of the pack kind of thing, maybe. The Sixers might be high, but it depends what happens with the Sixers, and then the Knicks are probably going to be pretty good. So I feel like as time goes on, the worse it would age for the Nets. But we'll see.
Going to Sacramento would certainly make sense. Now, all of these trades, you can nitpick however you want. You can say that's not enough value for Fox. The actual value, what the actual trade is, isn't important. The important thing is trying to figure out what the team is. And I think the team is certainly amongst this group. The Nets as a dark horse, I think the Spurs as the favorite, and then everybody else in between. The real thing here for Sacramento is this is an absolute disaster. This is the team that 2 years ago was like the beam.
Like the beam.
They had it all figured out. They finally had.
They made the playoffs for the first time since 2006 in 2022.
Then they have De'Aaron Fox, who really has blossomed.
Damn, that was 3 seasons ago. That's crazy.
Finally turned the corner. A Sacramento team that had been terrible forever. They finally were going to be competent for a handful of years here. And then they went out and got DeMar DeRozan, which was an interesting move after a relatively disappointing season last year, and it just hasn't worked. They've changed head coaches. They've been better lately since the head coaching change, but ultimately it just hasn't been enough to convince De'Aaron Fox to stay, and he just has his eyes on a different team. And as a 2026 free agent, as someone that took the risk to not sign the contract extension, he's well within his rights to potentially push for a trade and go to a specific team. And now,
honestly,
this news, he automatically catapults himself to of the trade target list. It's no longer Jimmy Butler's season. De'Aaron Fox is the #1 trade target out there. The interesting thing for me is not knowing what the team is feels intentional by these reporters. There's a couple of reporters.
It's going to be like Christmas morning if he gets traded to the Spurs. That would be insane. Oh my God, I would literally watch like every single minute of every single game for the rest of the season if that happened.
Teams to be interested, but then Fox can let it be known, I don't actually want to go to this team, I want to go to this team. And then ultimately, that's probably what's going to happen because that's just the era of the NBA that we are in. Ultimately, if you're a Kings fan, this isn't a fantastic situation. I wouldn't be surprised if a year from now, year and a half from now, they're looking at Malik Monk trades, Domantas Sabonis trades, DeMar DeRozan trades. This was always the risk with bringing in all these guys, continually trying to win and losing some flexibility.
It might not be great for the Kings,
extension. The good thing for the Kings is that they have their future first-round picks, and some of the contracts and numbers that they have on their books wouldn't be that difficult to trade. I think there'd be interest in Sabonis should they decide to make that move. I think there'd be interest in someone like Keegan Murray as a complementary player if they really wanted to. And again, they have all of their future first-round picks. But given the wording of this, given the situation with free agency, given the fact that this has been made public, makes me think that this is going to happen, that De'Aaron Fox is going to be on a different team prior to next Thursday's trade deadline. That's like 8 days away. It's pretty crazy that all of a sudden we have this new major player. There were whispers and rumors, that's why I made the video a month ago, that this could be a possibility.
I missed it entirely.
He's going to be on his way to maybe San Antonio.
Which is why it would be kind of good to do this, so I can learn a little bit more about the league and like the different teams outside of like the 4 teams that I follow.
All this doesn't necessarily mean that Fox is 100% going to be moved. He certainly can play out the season, and he isn't a free agent until 2026. So the Kings still have time to make this move. They can wait till the offseason where maybe some things open up for them a little bit more. But right now, the reporting is that Fox is going to try and force himself out before the deadline, which again is not that far away. Because you got to think about it. I mean, it's just going to be really awkward if everybody knows that he doesn't want to be on the team. They're going to play the rest.
This just makes me think of like the Damian Lillard trade. Just how crazy that was for like the. All right, now some final thoughts. All right, final thoughts. So there was honestly some pretty interesting mock trades. I felt like the Rockets one was really interesting. It'd be really interesting to see De'Aaron Fox, Jalen Green, and Şengün in the playoffs together. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't hate if he went there. But as you can see, I'm pretty clearly biased on where I want him to go, especially after watching that video. We only have to give up Keldon Johnson, a bag of chips, a couple paper clips, some thumbtacks. So, you know, I'm praying to the heavens above to send De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio, but you know, we'll see what happens with that. Seems like he believes he's worth more than what Sacramento has to give, and you know, I can't hate on wanting to change of scenery. It's good to mix things up every now and then in your life. And so I never have an issue with players wanting to get traded or wanting to go to a different team and that kind of thing. I know there's some fans that are like big, like loyalty until the end, but you know, we're not in a loyal league. Damian Lillard is no longer on the Trailblazers, so we are no longer in a loyal league. So you just got to get with the program. Teams are going to do what they have to do to get on top. If that means trade away someone that's a borderline all-star, then that's what teams are going to do. It's 2025. Anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy. Like I said, feel free to leave a like and a comment about your thoughts on the trade, and we can start some interesting conversations and see what happens in the 8 or so days, it seems, until he's going to get traded. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy, stay tuned. We'll be dropping more news. I'll be dropping all sorts of news, basketball news, movie news, gaming news, just all sorts of different news things. So do feel free to stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you guys later. See you, YGON. I'm gone.